Hey everybody. In this video, I'm just going to do a quick run through of some of the maintenance documentation that's going to come with the TVR Cerbera. Please excuse my voice because I'm a little sick right now. So what I have here is actually, it says owner's handbook, but what this actually is the original service center stamps or the dealership stamps showing the services all the way back to when the car was basically brand new. I don't have receipts for all of these very early ones, but there are receipts for the later ones. But basically, this essentially goes all the way back to the very beginning. You got September of 1997 and mileage of 25. So, this is probably the first service here at TVR Center in Arkley. These are all the early services here. 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles, 34,000 miles. And this goes to looks like maybe 2011, or there's 2017 there, and that's kind of where it stops. But then the actual large maintenance receipts, what I'm doing is I've got a big old stack of these that I have slowly been going through, and I'm trying to put all these in order into this binder here, partly just so I can see what has been done to the car throughout its history, and also, partly just to save all these things in one spot. But these big receipts start at around 2005, and maybe earlier than that, because I still have to go through all of these here. But just to flip through some of these, obviously some of this stuff doesn't really matter anymore because, things have been replaced more than once, as this car is now 25 years old. So, not everything in here really matters all that much. But the point is, there's a ton of receipts for this car dating, all the way back, possibly, or at least these big receipts to 2005. So, if you're looking for a car that's got records and documents of service going, as back as far as you can, I don't think I've seen anything better than this on just about any car that I've ever owned. So you got, a lot of random stuff in here. Here's some wheel center caps. There's oil changes in here. There's a door open switch. I'm going to try not to show the owner's name and address and everything. So pardon me while I hold this phone. But, you can see everything in here. There's some Continental tires. There's some engine mounts and some other parts. There's a filter. There's a door mirror switch cover. There's another one, same thing. Here's some drag link bushings, another oil filter. And then if I just kind of randomly flip through this, there's all kinds of stuff in here. Here's a coolant temperature sensor. I think there's some sort of a gauge there. Silicone heater lead set. There's the boot badge. Somebody ordered a 4.5 boot badge, which I have explained in the advertisement that is incorrect. This is actually a 4.2 liter Cerbera. But they have to have that boot badge on there because that's also the boot open button, or the trunk open button. So maybe that's the only one they could get a hold of. I don't know. But anyway, there's a clutch master cylinder set. And if I jump ahead to some of these more important ones here, these ones I've got pictures of in the advert, but these ones with the tags here are basically the kind of the most important ones. Around 2014, 2015 is when the body off chassis restoration happened, and around that same time is when they did the gearbox and I don't know if it was the first engine rebuild, but it was a engine rebuild around that same time, which there's a picture of. And then this is also when they restored the chassis. They coated it, a zinc coating of some sort, and then painted it. And I assume this might have been the same time when they did the. Well, I don't know, but it might have been the same time as when they did these lights, because that was a common mod to change the headlights and taillights to the Mark II style. They might have done that at the same time. I don't know. I haven't seen a receipt in here for that. But anyway, this is the gearbox rebuild. They sent it to Grand Jura Engineering, did the gearbox rebuild at the same time. This is when they bought the 18-inch Spider wheels. Those are TVR wheels. They're known as the Spiders. Those are not the original wheels that the Cerbera came with, but those are TVR wheels. Here you got an oil filter, and then around this time period is when a lot of suspension parts were bought, because they were putting everything back together. So there's lots of ball joints, washers, bolts. There's some wishbones here. Here's the zinc spray, which was one of the things they used on the chassis. This here is the photo of the chassis. And actually, maybe the headlights were done sometime before this, because the picture here, well, I guess this is when it was done, because honestly, I don't know. But you got the photo here of the chassis restoration, and then there's a couple other photos of some of the other receipts, which are already in here. But this receipt here is the big one for the chassis work, and it's labeled as frame, and it says shot blasted, zinc sprayed per instructions. And then also around here, there's more receipts with random chassis parts, and there's some kind of epoxy there. There's some CV joints. This is when they were putting everything back together, so you got some ball joints there. Differential bushings, all kinds of stuff around this time period. That says spray paint. I don't know if that's when they bought that green paint or what. But anyway, so you'll see a lot of receipts from 2014, 2015. There's anti-roll drop links, that kind of stuff. So obviously a lot of this body off work was done in 2014 to 2015. This is also when the engine was rebuilt, somewhere around there. I don't know if I've seen the receipt for that, but there is a photo in the photo set of the engine during its rebuild. Here is the set of carpets there around that same time. This was 2015. And then this one is, this is some door opening things, adjust handbrake, stuff like that. This was a 12,000 mile service. There's photos of this. Shows all the things that they did here. The car did just get basically another 12,000 mile service right before it left, which is the big Powers performance receipt back here that there's photos of. Even though it did have a 12,000 mile service a while back in 2017, I wanted to get a new one because I wanted to basically reset that clock before the car came over, so that when I imported the car, I would have a whole another 12,000 miles to go before the next service. So when you look at that Powers performance receipt, on one of those pages it says 12,000 mile service in there somewhere. There are photos of this. Let me see if I can find it. But there are, here you go, AJP engine, 12,000 mile service, including tappets. So basically, I believe it depends on the mileage, not the time. So you have essentially another 12,000 miles to go before you need that again. And then this is the big Powers performance receipt with all of the work that they did. I mean, engine out work, water pump rebuild, the new radiator, new battery, just a whole bunch of stuff that I believe I listed in the advertisement. And then this one is one of the more recent ones that I did here. I did find a small coolant leak, but the mechanic looked at it and it was just a couple of hose clamps that were loose, and he tightened them and pressure tested it, and it's all good now. There is no more coolant leak. This thing here is, this was just a interior buttons stickers order. I don't know if I'll put those on because I already took photos of the car with, you know, the old buttons on it. But I do have the brand new buttons, or they're actually stickers that go on top of the buttons. So I might just leave it the way it is since I already took photos of the car. But when the new owner gets the car, you can put those button stickers on there if you'd like. And then this one here is not actually a receipt. This is just from when I went to do the underbody photos. So, you know, long story short, I mean, this is, I don't know if it's every, sorry about that noise. I don't know if it's every receipt, but I mean, you've got the original ones here from the very first services, and then you've got this whole stack of receipts that so far they date all the way back to 2005. So, I mean, if you're looking for a TVR with, you know, a ton of documentation and tons of receipts, you know, showing the full service and the full history of the car, I do not know if you can find one that's more well documented than this. So anyway, this is a video of the receipts for the Bring a Trailer auction. And then I think I already showed a photo of this, but you know, this is just random parts and things that I have here. There's a door open sensor. If you need it, there's the caps for the wheels. And then there's just a lot of other random things in there, like the cigarette lighter. You know, I like to take that out of the car because I don't like to leave those in there. I don't want them to heat up or something. But this is all just kind of random spare parts that I have gotten, and some other things that came off the car that really you may or may not need. You know, these are the valve caps that were on there. I just put the black plastic ones on there because I think it matches the tires better. But anyway, that's the spare parts box, and then all of the documentation, and I'm kind of slowly working on putting all these receipts in order just to kind of see what the car has been through. But there you go.